Once I found a beanstalk high. I climbed its stem into the sky. I climbed and didn't stop until I reached the very top. And there I sat in shades of green and thought about the things I'd seen. For here, so far above the ground, amazing creatures I had found. Some that slithered, some with wings, some were long and some had stings. Some had many legs and feet, some were small and kind of sweet. I followed one with tiny wings. It seemed quite nice and had no stings. It scuttled off beneath some bark into a hollow, damp and dark. In hot pursuit, the bark I raised. I gave a gasp. I was amazed. No tiny creature crouched to hide. I can't believe what was inside. A tiny window did I see, which looked inside the beanstalk tree. Peering in, I saw quite well every brick-shaped little cell. The beanstalk, leaves and stem and all were made from pieces very small, put together perfectly to be the wondrous beanstalk tree.
Hi, I'm Mark from Beyond the Beanstalk, and today I'm going to tell you all about some creepy crawlies and bugs you might find in your backyard and inside the beanstalk. Let's start with spiders. Have you ever seen one? They're these creepy little crawlies that have 8 legs. They like to web up their walls and catch flies in their webs. But did you know spiders come in all shapes and sizes, so many different colors? Now, the interesting thing about spiders is although they're all very different in appearance, they all share very similar behavior. Every spider is what we call a predator, meaning he hunts little insects for food. They catch them in their webs or they catch them with their fangs, depending on how the spider is built. There are some hairy spiders that are big and like to grab their prey, and there are small spiders that like to catch their prey in webs. All spiders have one thing in common though, they all have fangs. And these little fangs can hurt you really bad if you get bitten. So if you see a spider, it's best to look from afar. Don't get too close. Millipedes are an outstanding bug. That's because they have hundreds of legs on each side. If you look closely, you can count upwards from 50 to 100 legs. Now, I love millipedes because not only are they friendly, but they clean up leaf litter and old dead leaves you see lying around. Millipedes are very fragile though, so if you see one, it's best to look from a distance, because you might hurt the poor little thing. Now, I have someone cool to show you. A millipede. His name is Millipeter. If you look closely at Millipeter, you'll be able to see the bright red on both of his legs. Can you see it? That's because he is an Australian red-legged millipede. Now, millipedes like Millipeter are native to all regions of Australia, so you might find some of his cousins and family in your own backyard. As I said before, even though they're friendly, they are very fragile to human touch, so it's best to just stand back and observe them. Crickets have always been a favorite of mine. That's because they have these really big, strong legs on the backs of them. Now, these big, strong legs have many purposes. Primarily, they like to jump from leaf to leaf at nighttime. They get around really fast by doing this. Now, these big legs have another purpose for being big and strong. Crickets like to rub them together. Believe it or not, this is how they talk to each other. At nighttime, if you listen to your window outside your bedroom, you might hear this. This is chirping. Now, crickets like to chirp really loudly sometimes. This is how they talk to each other. That's done by rubbing these two legs together to produce this sound. Now, as you'll notice, most crickets are the same brown kind of color. That's because they like to blend in with the dirt or the grass. They're very hard to see, so predators, like spiders, might not catch them. Centipedes. Centipedes are a cousin of the millipedes. If you look closely at a centipede, it has a lot less legs than a millipede, but don't let that fool you. They are just as fast. Now, a centipede uses these legs to really cling into prey. You'll notice that they're pretty pointy. Now, that helps when they hold their prey down so that they can eat it without any issues. Centipedes like to live in nice, dark, damp places, so you probably won't see one if you're lucky. Now, centipedes are very, very nasty and their bites hurt a lot. So if you see a centipede, you should look at it from a very safe distance. I want you to meet my friend, Fanula. Now, Fanula is a spiny leaf insect, also known as a stick insect. And they're called spiny leaf insects because, as you can see, she looks like a very small, dried up leaf. Look at the little spines on her. That's why they call them that. Now, an interesting fact about spiny leaf insects is their ability to climb. It's extraordinary. As you can see, I can turn my hand upside down and she'll stay there. Very peaceful little critters, but the chances of seeing a stick insect are actually very low. That's because they're so well camouflaged. If this was in a tree, you just think it's a dead leaf. So I don't think you'll ever see a stick insect in the wild. I love stick insects because, as you can see, they're very friendly and you can buy them from pet stores. Stick insects like to eat gum leaves, native to Australia. She wobbles like this to mimic the swaying of leaves in the wild in the wind.